A subscription to...
Look to your right.
Hi, everybody.
Regis.
Hello.
Hi, Regis.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Liza. Great to have you.
Dave, thank God you're here.
I know.
Finally.
Dave, every morning surrounded by three beautiful women, huh?
You know, I was going to ask you, whenever they gang up on me, I was going to say, I got to ask Reg about how you handle that. But I knew you'd say, what's your problem?
I had just one at a time, Dave. I couldn't handle three.
No?
Yes, I had Kathy Lee for 15 years and Kelly for 11. And that's about all Regis could take.
Yeah. But you just let her go. I mean, you let her have her way, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a while, you just give up.
Yeah.
The motto for life.
in your house as well?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is.
Regis, how's the tour been going? You've been on a big book tour
Yeah,
for how
I really
long
have.
now?
I haven't rested at all. In fact, it began 3 days before I left the show, and it continues now. So I don't know. That's about 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Wow.
So
How
it's
many
been a lot of
cities,
fun.
do you know? How many cities?
Gee, I guess around 12. Yeah.
Crazy busy. Do you love having having the schedule full?
Well, you
all
want to know
the time?
something that came in handy, because to leave the show is going to be quite a turnaround in your life. But here, when you've got so many things to do, so many stores to visit, cities and so on, it takes that away, and all of a sudden this becomes the project.
Mm-hmm.
You're like Clinton now.
A little bit, yeah. I was signing my book last night. And at, what's the name of the store? Indigo, yeah, thanks for coming. And you weren't there, Dave. I looked for you.
Really?
I thought one of you might be there, to get ahead on the interview today. But that's okay. I understand.
We all read the book.
One of you, Dave.
We all read the book.
But somebody should have come down and said, Regis, how are you? How are you feeling?
Well, could we have gone out for, gone to Morton's or something?
Sure, why
would we
not?
go to Morton's?
No, Soto.
Oh.
Do I know my way around town? Yes,
He's a local boy
I love
all
that
of a
name, Soto.
It's delicious, though, isn't it?
Very good,
What did you
yeah.
have? A pasta? It's tasty.
Well, I had to eat because my HarperCollins representative wanted to eat, at 5:30 or something like that. I wasn't that hungry. So I had some mozzarella, and the... whatever it is they serve with it. It was great.
Yeah, it's one of my faves. Regis, I thought, first of all, we have all enjoyed your book tremendously.
Really?
Yeah.
Even Dave?
Honestly.
I don't know
I don't know
I'm on
about
the
Dave
fence.
either. I got to fence you three read it, but Dave,
Yeah, I never speak for
not
Dave.
big enough for him.
No, it
It's
touched
dangerous.
a lot of buttons for me.
It's called How I Got This Way. You know what I was struck by? The fact that each chapter is dedicated to a person in your life that has had an impact. And it starts with Bing Crosby. It lists Jack Parr is listed there, Cary Grant, but then it goes right through to Howard Stern, David Letterman, of course, your wife, and your co-hosts. But I thought, what a lovely, gracious, humble way to write a book. It's not just about you. It's about all of these people.
Exactly. It is about them. They're the ones who kind of changed me, inspired me, influenced me in some way, maybe better. And this is kind of like a tribute to them. But in the meantime, I'm telling you
Your story.
what each stop was along the way.
Was anyone surprised that they warranted a full chapter?
No, but there were some people surprised they weren't in it, which is always tough when you limit it to 30, and then there are so many others.
Can you explain the significance of Vic Damone in your life?
Vic Damone is a good friend of mine, lives in Palm Beach. I like him a lot. I thought he had one of the great voices of our time. And there are two little episodes there about Vic Damone. Once when I left Joey Bishop, Joey had a plan for me to walk off, but I had to fake it like the network was against me, and so I'm going to leave Joey, and I walked off. And the next guest was standing right behind the curtain waiting to come out, and it was Vic Damone. And when you're appearing on a big show like that, you don't want anything spectacular to happen before you come out. You want the audience relaxed and ready for you. So here comes this guy all upset. They don't want me. I'm leaving you. And I walk off the show. And as I'm walking off, Vic Damone says, "You're coming back, aren't you?" I said, "No, I'm not, Vic." And I kept going. Now 2 years go by. And one night Joey Bishop has an argument with the president of ABC. And he walks off. And as he's walking off, the first guest, Vic Damone. Vic Damone's been on the show twice, and both times somebody's walked off.
Got a complex.
And Vic Damone ain't too happy about that, you know. But is that the story? Is that
Yeah.
I thought that was quite coincidental.
Now listen, your closeness to Joey Bishop, although I think in the book you allude to the fact that it was kind of hard to get close to Joey Bishop, in a way.
In a way, yes.
But did that get you closer to Frank?
Sinatra.
Yeah.
You know, because at that time, Dean came on the show, Sammy was always on. Never got Frank to come on the show, which was a puzzlement for Joey, who had done Pinch Hit for Johnny Carson a number of times, and Frank would come on. But for his own show, he never got him. And I knew better than to bring that up and ask why and how come and all of that stuff, because I know he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we never did get Frank. Yeah, strange.
But you've met Frank.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know, Sinatra had a look. I'll never forget it. One night in Palm Springs, I was walking across this ballroom dance floor, and it was a big party, and everybody was dressed up. And Sinatra was walking this way, and honest to God, it looked like little speckles of diamonds pouring out of his face. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating in any way, but he had that look that just...
An aura.
An aura. It was scary.
Yeah.
With the big get
Something like you, Paul. You know what I mean? I see them right now.
Exactly. The big get that you never got that you talk about was Cary Grant.
Oh, absolutely.
But man, did the guy who was doing the booking try, huh?
He really
you talk
did.
about in your book.
He's like one of your guys there. I just met him. Met me at the car.
Kai?
Karen.
Karen worked for me as an intern 4 years ago in New York City, and very eager. And you know, and I love that about young people who are starting out. That's the way you get ahead.
Yeah.
You take a chance. You try to do something. And this young guy, when I replaced Steve Allen, was a leftover from the Steve Allen show. Very young. He said, "What can I do for you? Just tell me one thing, because I'm a fan of yours." Whatever he said. I said, "Well, you know, I'd love to get the one guy nobody has ever gotten on their talk show." Who? Just tell me who. I said, well, Cary Grant. He doesn't do shows like this. I'll get him. I said, well, all right, but don't be too aggressive. You know what I mean? And so the days went by, and this kid called Cary Grant first of all...
And you didn't know, right? You were unaware.
At the beginning, I didn't know. But he wanted to surprise me. And so he didn't tell me whether he was making any inroads or not. He would call... poor Cary at his home. Somehow he got his home number. Hello, Cary Grant. And
that's pretty good.
And so anyway, he would badger him and, Mr. Grant, please, Regis needs you and wants you, and please consider this. And Cary Grant every day would be very, very
Cary
nice.
Grantish.
Yeah, very Cary Grantish. Very nice as well. Now, Marshall, I appreciate what you're saying, but you tell Mr. Philbin good luck with his show. You're always gracious. But never coming
Just
up.
because he thought he'd be a bad guest. He thought he would.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah.
I found that hard to believe. But anyway, I don't think he could ever be a bad guest, you know?
No, it would just
the best movies you see on TMC are the movies with Cary Grant. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, what's the one he did with, Hepburn? With
Philadelphia Story.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's probably the comedy classic of all time.
It's just been, I could watch it 100 times.
I know.
There's something about a black and white film with their beautiful outfits and the way
Let me tell you
they
another
carry
one that's coming up.
themselves.
The Bishop's Wife.
Yeah?
Cary Grant comes back as an angel. And the Bishop is married to Loretta Young. David Niven plays the Bishop. And so he comes into their lives because he senses there's a breakup in the marriage. But in the meantime, listen to me very carefully, he falls in love with her. Now, he's an angel. He's got to go back. But he's in love with Loretta Young. Bishop's Wife. It'll be coming up, I'm sure, sometime around Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Regis, you'll stick around, right?
Yeah, but Paul, how did you wind up with the three of them?
Why does he keep calling me
How
Paul?
did you get
What's his name?
Dave.
I'm calling him Paul because
name-
you said call him Paul. Yes, you did.
His name
You're out of control.
His name is now Paul. He will forever be known as
that what you-
that. The book is called How I Got This Way.
Talk like you.
Oh, really?
We're
Am
gonna take
I-
a break. We'll be back with Regis Philbin in
How
just
do
a
I get
moment.
out of here? Oh, let me tell you what happened, kids.
Yes?
Regis went to the airport to
When?
get on the plane Monday. Over to LaGuardia, across the bridge, New York traffic. I get there. kid says to me, "Got your passport?"
.841, and we're thrilled to have Regis Philbin with us here on the show. Regis, someone
I'll
told
be with
me...
you in a minute. I'm making this out to Dave.
That's very nice of you.
Well, you see, it was to Paul, but I had to cross it out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Hey, big guy.
Regis, someone told me that you've always wanted to host SNL. Is that true?
No, where did that come from? Last night, the Golden Greek asked me that. Stephanopoulos, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
He asked you that, too. I'm not
Strombo.
I'm not pinching his question. I had heard that from someone else entirely.
Like
so
who?
It's not true?
Like who would tell you that?
It's Kieran.
Who could? Why?
Kieran.
Listen, you're a bit of a picky eater like Kieran. Kieran's a really picky eater.
Is he?
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Like I saw what was a Letterman show where he was trying to shove shellfish down your...
Oh, yeah. He knows I don't like all that stuff.
Can we talk
brings
David
it out.
Letterman a
He
little
brought
bit?
it out.
I was so happy when I read that chapter you have on David Letterman that you were saying you think that everyone does their job very well that hosts a night show, but that he does it exceptionally well. I couldn't agree more. I don't think he gets his due.
No, he gets what he wants, and he knows what he wants, and he's smarter than everybody on the show. He really is. And so it goes his way, and I think it pays off. Mm-hmm. No, he's pretty tough on the people who work for him. But then when it's all done, they love him, and he loves them.
But they don't necessarily know him really well, Regis.
No one knows him.
No one.
No one knows.
Because we had one of his writers on the show.
They said they met him twice. Jabberbaum. Yes,
Well, there
David
are certain
Jabberbaum.
writers who just not phone in, but mail in, or however they get the information to them, their recommendations for, a funny gag here and there, and especially in the opening of the show. But Dave is very private, and I think he likes me a lot. But I can't. I always say to him, "Why can't we be friends? Why can't you? What you need is a friend. You, more than anybody else that I know, needs a good friend."
You were on his Christmas card.
That's right. I was on his Christmas card once. So anyway, in spite of all that, there's no. We don't get together. Except one time he did have a party. I think it was this past summer, and he had Steve Martin and Don Rickles and me and our wives on the show with him. at dinner with him.
Yeah.
And it was pretty quiet dinner. I mean, I know the Brickles especially was making eyes at me because Steve Martin began talking about the banjo.
Oh, no, not again.
Yes.
He's great.
He's great.
Yeah.
But do you want to hear about
Enough
it?
with the banjo.
It's enough to change your name to Paul.
So he's talking technically
Paul
about
suits
the
him better.
banjo.
You
Let's go to the best dinner parties.
Well,
Yes, you
not,
do.
well, in
Yeah.
New York, there's a
Guest
lot of
list.
great stuff. Yeah.
Well, you
It's-
see, Larry King is actually going to televise one of his dinner parties.
I
now.
know.
Why don't you do that?
Well, that's an old gag. You know, I used to do that. I had a show once just like this with a desk like this. Actually, it was much smaller, and 3 chairs on either side, and I'm in the middle. And we would invite, a variety of people, a politician, an athlete, a movie star, this, that, and get it all together. And it was a lot of fun.
And eat.
And eat. No, my gang didn't eat, but Larry King's gang is eating. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's sitting at a table and dining, yeah.
Regis, it's been in the news that you already have a new show in the works.
No, I don't. You know, I'm just considering things. People are calling, and I'm listening to them and trying to weigh them. But I've been so busy running around the world, not around the world, but around the country with the book that I haven't had a chance really to sit down and think it through.
What about taking a break? A beach in
Well,
Hawaii?
I want to do that. You're right. But this book came out as I was saying goodbye, and that long, drawn-out farewell to Regis.
Did you find that painful at all?
I went to
Like,
Gelman. I
everybody
said,
loves you
Gelman,
so
is there
much,
such a
but-
thing as too much farewell to Regis?
Did you feel that way, or did it feel great to have that kind of...
Well, I felt like in the middle of it, Gee, another week of this, but that's what they wanted to do.
You talk about in your book how you entered into this business. I was saying earlier, it's like a bootstrap story. You just decided you were getting into TV, and you went for it. And one of your early jobs was being a page at NBC and looking down right at Jack Parr and
Steve Allen.
And thinking about how great they were and the job that they did. And now here you are, you've got the most hours on TV of anyone. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. How does do you look back and think about that kid who was looking down at Steve Allen?
I really do, and writing this book made me think about him even more. Now, don't tell me that all of you grew up knowing that you were going to do this and you have the guts and the talent to do it. Everybody has their doubts, except maybe you. But you know what I'm saying? Was I any different than you getting into this business?
He can beat people up, though.
What?
It can beat people up getting into this business.
Oh, my
and
God,
you just
yes.
kept going.
And it all depends on timing and luck and if you have anything at all to offer.
Were you always
spot that?
optimistic? Because that's
No,
one thing.
I was not optimistic. No, I was scared to death. And the more I saw Steve Allen and his entourage and Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet and the talent that they had, the less I felt I could do it. And yet 9 years later, I was called upon to follow Steve Allen. And boy, did it bother me. I stayed up every night. They put me on the road, again, like on the road, flying into Pittsburgh and all the stations that Westinghouse owned at that time. And then they bought CBS, and then they decided Steve was moving on, and they came to San Diego and saw my little show. And the last one was San Francisco, which I was just there, and going across the Golden Gate Bridge. And I stayed up. I watched Steve at his last show. And I said, my God, I am following this guy on Monday. And I got, the feelings in the pit of your stomach. And I looked out the window, and there was the Golden Gate Bridge, and I watched that bridge all night. Didn't sleep a wink till the next morning. Very, very scared to death.
What gives you the courage to walk out in that moment, then, when you have to take that step out onto the stage, sit in that chair, you just dig down deep somewhere?
Yeah, it's a tough step to take. It really is. The first step of the new show, it's a killer.
Yeah.
You also talk in this book about how you didn't have conversations just prior to the show with your co-hosts.
Yes.
Now, she picks me up every morning at 20 after 4, and we commute.
20 after 4, you guys are here? 20 after 4?
Yes.
No, they're here earlier. We're the last ones
They
in.
carpool together, though.
Well, we
3 a.m.
carpool. Should we not
How
talk?
interesting. I wondered if there was something going on here at this table.
Should we not talk? Is there a
Well,
philosophy?
don't leave it in the hallway. That's what you say in the book.
Well, that was my own thing. When I saw Jack Parr come out and sit on the edge of the desk and talk about where he had been the last night, who he had met, what funny thing happened to him, I thought for a minute, I used to do that as a kid on the street corners of the Bronx. And I used to get laughs with the kids I hung around with. And I feel I can still do that. And so that gave me an insight into maybe what my talent could be. And so I decided to adopt that and talk spontaneously about what I had done. I did that for 3 years, and I got Steve Allen's job after that. But beyond that, it was tough to explain to people, well, what are you going to talk about? Well, it's in my head, I know, but I don't want to tell you now because I'll ruin it.
Yeah.
And then in 1975, I began with a co-host. The whole television thing was changing, and there had to be a woman reporting the news along with a man, and talk shows and so on, and that's the way it should have been. But anyway, that's how it began. And so I said to Sarah Purcell, my first co-host, Sarah, listen, it's better, I think, for the both of us if we don't talk about the show. Just come out, I'll knock on your door, we walk out, and I will tell you what you can tell me, and it'll be an exchange, but it will be spontaneous and fresh. But here you two are meeting at 12:15 at night.
On a dark street corner.
In a dark street corner. Who knows what's going on in that car
He
anyway?
was bagging her groceries the other day.
Exactly, it's a nightmare. We got to wrap up, but I have to just say before you go, like I can't imagine that you're not doing another talk show someday. I mean, this is.
Well, I hope I am. I don't know yet for sure. That's the truth.
I mean, it's like you're born to do it, Regis. So it'd be great to see you out there.
Don't be surprised if one morning at 4:15 I show up in his trunk.
Anytime. You're more than welcome. The book is called How I Got This Way. The one and only Regis Philbin. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very, very much. Great to be with you.
It's been a pleasure.